Sigma female is not single because she's difficult. She's single because she refuses to settle for anything less than soul deep. Let's be honest, being a Sigma female isn't easy. It's not some glamorous label or a social media trend. It's a way of living that's built on self-respect, deep thinking, and a level of independence most people can't understand, let alone keep up with. That's exactly why so many Sigma women end up walking solo, longer than others. Not because they can't find someone, but because they refuse to settle for surface-level connections. While others rush into relationships just to fill a void or check a box, Sigma females are asking deeper questions. Does this person bring peace to my life? Do they really see me? Or do they just want to label me? They're not avoiding love, they're protecting their energy. And in a world full of distractions, performative dating, and emotionally unavailable people wearing masks, that kind of self-awareness is rare. If you're a Sigma female watching this, hear this loud and clear. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not too much, and you're not too picky. You're just not built to waste your time. You're not single because you're broken. You're single because you're awake. And that's a strength, that's power. Anyone can date. Anyone can play the part. But it takes a whole different level of wisdom and courage to wait for something real. And more importantly, to be completely okay on your own while you do. Let's get into the real reason why Sigma females stay single longer than most women. Number 1. She's not afraid of forever alone, she's terrified of settling. Here's the truth that most people miss about Sigma females. They're not afraid of being alone, not even close. In fact, being alone is where they recharge, think clearly, and stay true to themselves. What really scares them, what truly keeps them up at night, is the thought of being stuck in a relationship that feels empty, of building a life with someone who doesn't challenge them, doesn't understand them, and doesn't match their depth. See, society loves to shame women for being single past a certain age. There's always this unspoken pressure to hurry up and find someone, as if being partnered automatically means success. But for a Sigma woman, that's not the goal. She'd rather be by herself for years than waste even 1 year pretending to be happy with the wrong person. Because settling doesn't just mean choosing the wrong partner. It means watering yourself down to fit into a life that doesn't inspire you. It means pretending small talk is enough when your soul craves depth. It means tolerating inconsistency, faking connection, and slowly becoming someone you don't even recognize, all to avoid being alone. That's the nightmare. She's not heartless. She loves deeply. But she wants a real, rare connection, not convenience, not chemistry that dies off in 3 months. She wants someone who gets the quiet parts of her, someone who doesn't just tolerate her solitude but respects it, someone who can sit in silence with her and still feel close. So if you're wondering why she's still single, it's not because she's difficult or too picky. It's because she knows exactly what she brings to the table, and she refuses to shrink just to make someone else comfortable. That's not pride. That's self-respect. Being single isn't her weakness. Settling for less than she deserves, that would be. Number 2. They're obsessed with peace, not just passion. Let's be real. Passion is easy. Anyone can fall for someone who gives them butterflies. The late-night texting, the playful banter, the heart-racing excitement, it's addictive. But here's the thing. Sigma females don't chase butterflies. They've outgrown that. They know that the same fire that burns bright in the beginning often burns everything down by the end. Sigma women crave something deeper. They want peace. Not the fake kind where everything looks good on social media, but behind closed doors it's constant arguments and silent treatments. They want the kind of calm that doesn't need noise to feel alive. The kind of connection where they don't have to explain who they are every 5 minutes, where their mind is at ease, not on edge. To her, peace is passion. It's stability. It's knowing that the person beside her isn't playing games, isn't lying through a smile, and isn't only showing up when it's convenient. She doesn't want passion that comes with confusion or love that feels like a roller coaster she didn't sign up for. If passion requires her to lose her center, she'll walk away, no matter how intense the chemistry is. This is why Sigma females don't stay in emotionally messy relationships. Drama doesn't excite them. It exhausts them. They've worked too hard to build an inner world that's calm, focused, and steady. And the moment someone brings in chaos disguised as love, she knows it's not worth it. So while other people might jump from one high-intensity relationship to the next, Sigma females wait. They wait for the person who brings peace with their presence. Someone who doesn't disturb the quiet they've built, but fits into it like they belong there. Because at the end of the day, passion fades. But peace? Real peace lasts. And that's what she's really after. Number 3. They've already rescued themselves. While most women are out there searching for someone to complete them or fix the cracks in their lives, Sigma females have already done the heavy lifting. They've faced the darkness, navigated their pain, and emerged stronger on the other side. They didn't wait for a hero, they became their own. They've learned that true strength isn't about waiting for someone to save you. It's about saving yourself first. This self-reliance is not a badge of pride, but a testament to their resilience. They've faced the worst of situations, whether it's heartbreak, disappointment, or betrayal, and rather than crumble, they rebuilt. They poured into themselves, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. They turned their scars into wisdom and their struggles into a foundation for a life they now control. Their life's purpose isn't to search for someone to rescue them from loneliness or instability. It's about flourishing in their own right. That's why they don't need a man. Sure, they might want one, but they don't need one to feel whole or complete. They've created a full, rich life all on their own, with no gaps to fill and no empty spaces to patch. Their happiness, their sense of purpose, and their direction all come from within. So when a Sigma female chooses a partner, it's not out of need, it's out of desire. She's looking for someone who can add value, not someone who's going to drag her down or add unnecessary chaos to her carefully crafted world. She values peace, growth, and authenticity in others. If a man comes into her life, he has to contribute to her mission, complement her journey, and respect the space she's carved for herself. Anything less isn't worth her time. She's already rescued herself. Now, she's only open to those who can truly stand beside her, not in front or behind her. Number 4. Their hearts are locked behind pattern recognition. Sigma females don't just glance at red flags, they study them. Where others might overlook warning signs in the heat of the moment, she's been there before. And now she sees the threads that stitch those flags together. She's not bitter or jaded, far from it. She's something far sharper, calibrated. Through her experiences, she's learned that patterns don't lie. She's built a mental map of the behavior and dynamics that lead to heartache. It's not a flaw or cynicism. It's wisdom. Every past mistake, every misstep has helped her learn how people work, how intentions unfold, and how her energy needs to align with those who are truly worthy of it. When someone shows up with a familiar pattern, she doesn't panic or give in to the false hope that maybe, just maybe, this time will be different. She sees through it. She recognizes the behavior before it even becomes a problem. She's not about to waste time pretending she hasn't seen this story unfold before. Her heart is locked behind this system of recognition because she knows that self-preservation isn't about being paranoid. It's about being wise enough to protect herself from repeating the past. The difference between her and others is her ability to connect the dots. She knows that love isn't just about chemistry, it's about character. She's not fooled by flashy gestures or sweet words. She's learned that love without trust, respect, and alignment is nothing more than an illusion. The moment she sees the same emotional patterns reappearing, she shuts the door. Not out of spite, but because she's calibrated to recognize what she truly needs. She's no longer desperate for love. She's learned that what matters isn't the frequency of people who come into her life, but the energy they bring. She doesn't get bitter, she gets smarter, and in doing so she saves herself for the kind of love that doesn't require red flags in the first place. Number 5. They don't see being single as a flaw. When you hear about single women, you might expect pity or confusion from those who believe love is a must-have. But for Sigma females, being single isn't a shortcoming, it's a power move. While society often tells women they're incomplete on their own, they see their singleness as the ultimate act of self-respect and independence. It's not about waiting for that perfect match. It's about curating a life that reflects their values, passions, and unique energy. In a world obsessed with coupling up, these women flip the script. Instead of enduring awkward dates or settling for the wrong person just to avoid being alone, they choose to invest in themselves. Every day spent solo is a chance to learn, grow, and fine-tune their dreams. They're focused on building careers, exploring interests, and deepening friendships. Their single status isn't a gap to be filled, it's a platform for potential. To the outside world, being single might look like missing out on something essential. But Sigma women know that waiting around for someone to change their lives is a gamble with too high an emotional price. They stand by their decisions with confidence, knowing that they're choosing quality over quantity, purpose over panic. It's not about loneliness. It's about having the freedom to explore every facet of who they are, without compromising or conforming to someone else's expectations. Being single is their flex. It's a declaration that they're not defined by their relationship status, but by the life they're building. They curate their experiences with careful precision, choosing meaningful moments over empty company. And as they evolve, so does their understanding that their worth isn't measured by who's holding their hand, but by how fiercely they can stand on their own. For these women, every sunrise is a reminder of how far they've come and how much more there is to explore. They aren't waiting for anyone's approval. They're leading their own journey, and in that, they find the ultimate form of success. Number 6, they operate on energetic compatibility, not checklists. You can look perfect on paper, great job, well-dressed, polite, all of the right boxes checked. But if your energy feels off, she's gone. No drama, no explanation, just gone. Because Sigma women don't fall for paper dreams. They move with vibes, not resumes. While most people are out here trying to craft the perfect dating profile or obsessing over surface traits, she's tuning into something deeper, something most people overlook: energetic alignment. It's not about how much money you make, how tall you are, or what car you drive. It's about how you feel when you walk into a room. Do you bring peace or chaos, confidence or performance, depth or small talk? She pays attention to the subtle things: how present you are, how safe your silence feels, how your presence shifts the air around her. If your energy feels like static, if it drains instead of grounds, she's not sticking around to see where it goes. She already knows. That's why she often confuses men. They thought they did everything right. They brought flowers. They asked about her day. They said all the right things. But she felt no spark, no soul recognition, no peace. And she doesn't fake that stuff to be polite. Sigma women don't chase emotional noise dressed up as romance. They crave real connection, rare, calm, intuitive, and clear. A connection that doesn't have to be explained or convinced into existence. It either flows or it doesn't, and if it doesn't, no hard feelings. She'll walk away with grace, but without guilt. Because to her, forced chemistry is just emotional noise, and she's already built a life quiet enough to hear her own intuition. If your energy doesn't match, she won't argue with it. She'll just let it go. Because checklists fade. But energy? That never lies. Number 7. They're married to their mission first. Before any man shows up, she's already building something that matters. A brand, a business, a movement, a purpose-driven life. Whatever it is, it's not a hobby. It's her mission. And that mission comes first. Not because she's heartless, but because she knows exactly who she is and why she's here. Sigma women don't dream about being saved. They're too busy saving themselves and others. While many people grow up thinking their ultimate goal is to find the one, she's out here chasing legacy, not just love. Her mind is occupied with growth, ideas, and impact, not endless texts and emotional babysitting. So when love comes knocking, it needs to add, not interrupt. A partner isn't the prize, he's a potential teammate. Someone who respects the fire she's built and doesn't ask her to dim it for comfort. If a man wants to be the center of her world, he's already lost her. Because she's not spinning around anyone's orbit. She is the center of her own. This doesn't mean she's emotionally unavailable. It means she's emotionally aligned. She has a deep well of love to give, but it won't be poured into someone who's threatened by her ambition. Or worse, tries to compete with it. She needs a man who respects her grind, not one who sees it as a distraction from him. She doesn't shrink to make a relationship work. She expands. And if the relationship can't grow with her, she walks away. Because at the end of the day, her mission is her compass. It gives her purpose when people disappoint, focus when the world's loud, and peace when everything feels uncertain. It's the foundation she refuses to sacrifice. So if love comes, it better be strong enough to stand beside that mission, not stand in its way. Number 8. She values depth over availability. For a Sigma woman, presence means nothing without substance. Just being around her, texting every day, or constantly showing up in her space isn't enough to win her time or her heart. She's not impressed by proximity. She's tuned into energy, depth, and intention. She's not looking for someone who's simply available. She's looking for someone who gets it, someone who speaks a language not everyone knows how to speak. It's a certain frequency, a vibe, a level of presence that goes beyond small talk and routine gestures. Most people don't operate there, and she knows that. She can feel when someone's just filling space versus when someone is truly connected to her world. She doesn't confuse convenience with compatibility. Just because a man is consistent doesn't mean he's aligned. She'd rather go deep with one soul than shallow with 10. You see, most people are addicted to attention, not connection. But her standards run deeper. If your presence doesn't challenge her, inspire her, or awaken something real, then she'd rather be alone. She's not being cold, she's being clear. Her life is already full of purpose, so adding another person isn't about curing loneliness, it's about matching her rhythm. That's why men who show up with surface-level energy, hoping that effort alone will win her over, usually don't last. She's after quality, not quantity. One deep moment can mean more to her than 100 empty hours. And if you're not bringing that depth, that ability to hold space, ask real questions, and have the kind of conversations that touch soul-level truths, then she won't stay interested. She'll quietly drift away, not out of bitterness, but because she knows her peace and time are too sacred to waste on someone just being there. Because for her, love has never been about who's around, it's about who's real. Number 9. She has zero tolerance for emotional laziness. She's not asking for perfection, but emotional effort, that's non-negotiable. A Sigma woman has outgrown the kind of men who treat communication like a chore. She's not impressed by silent treatments, moody behavior, or someone who shuts down every time things get real. If a man can't even name what he's feeling, take responsibility for his actions, or hold an honest conversation without getting defensive, she's already halfway out the door. Because here's the truth. She's done the inner work. She's faced her own shadows. She's had the tough conversations with herself. She doesn't avoid emotions. She understands them. She knows how to hold space for someone, but only if that someone is willing to meet her halfway. Emotional laziness isn't just unattractive, it's dangerous. It creates confusion, builds resentment, and leaves women carrying emotional weight that was never theirs to begin with. And she refuses to play therapist to someone who refuses to grow. She doesn't need a man who's constantly in his feelings. She needs a man who understands them, who can sit in discomfort without turning it into a mess, who can say, "I was wrong," who can listen without interrupting, who doesn't treat vulnerability like a threat. You can have the looks, the charm, the ambition, but if you lack emotional maturity, she'll see right through it, and she won't stay to fix it. Because here's what most don't get. Emotional intelligence is not about being soft. It's about being strong enough to face the truth. And the Sigma woman, she lives in that truth. She doesn't run from hard conversations. She doesn't pretend everything's fine when it's not. So if you can't meet her there with honesty, awareness, and accountability, then don't expect to keep her. She's not cold, she's clear, and she doesn't do relationships built on emotional shortcuts. Number 10. Sigma females sees relationships as additions, not escapes. Sigma women don't chase love because they're bored, lonely, or looking for a distraction. They're not trying to escape their own mind, their own problems, or their own journey. That's what makes them different. They're not running from themselves, they're running with themselves. That's a huge shift in mindset most people don't understand. For her, a relationship is not a lifeline, it's a bonus, an upgrade, an addition to an already meaningful life. So unless it brings more peace, more growth, more clarity, she's not interested. Love should be an expansion, not an escape hatch. If it doesn't fit into the life she's building with intention and purpose, she's fine without it. She's already done the hard work, the healing, the late nights figuring herself out. She's already fought the inner battles most people run from. So now, she's not going to compromise that just to say she has someone. She's not lonely, she's selective. And that's a power move. The truth is, many people jump into relationships just to hide from themselves. They don't want to sit in silence, so they run to noise. They don't want to deal with their inner chaos, so they attach themselves to someone else's story. But she's done escaping. She faced herself, and now she demands that same depth from anyone who wants in. So no, she won't stay just because someone shows interest. She won't entertain a connection that drains her spirit or dulls her focus. She'd rather walk alone than walk off her path. If you're coming into her life, you better come with something real. Something that enhances what's already there. Not confusion, not chaos, not codependency. Because she's not looking to be saved. She already saved herself. Now, she's only interested in what adds to that victory. Number 11. She's unapologetically self-focused. Sigma women don't run from themselves. They run toward themselves. While the world encourages people to find someone to complete them, she's too busy completing herself. She's not out here chasing someone to fill a void. She's filling it on her own, through healing, self-discovery, and growth. She's not self-absorbed. She's self-aware. And that alone makes her stand out. A lot of people jump into relationships just to avoid sitting with their own issues. They use love as a distraction. They think a partner will fix their self-esteem, their loneliness, their emptiness, but not her. She knows that dragging unresolved wounds into a relationship doesn't make it love, it makes it codependency. And she refuses to be someone's emotional crutch or personal therapist. Her self-growth is sacred. She guards it, prioritizes it, protects it even if it makes her look selfish to people who don't get it. She's not scared to say no to someone who threatens her peace, even if they check all the boxes on paper. Because her evolution matters more than feeding someone's ego. She invests in her habits, her mind, her goals. She's constantly leveling up, not to impress others, but to become who she was meant to be. And no, she's not waiting for a partner to start that journey. She's already on it. So when people say, "You're too focused on yourself," she doesn't flinch. That's not an insult to her. It's confirmation that she's doing exactly what she's supposed to. Because here's the truth. The more she grows, the fewer people can access her. Not because she thinks she's better, but because she finally knows her worth. She's not against love, but it has to align with her path. And if it doesn't, she'll choose herself every single time. No guilt, no apology, just growth. In conclusion, Sigma females stay single longer than most because they understand something that many others don't. Being single isn't a waiting period. It's a phase of growth, evolution, and building a life that's already complete. They don't seek to be saved or to have their lives fixed by someone else. Instead, they've done the work themselves. They've faced their fears, healed their wounds, and built the kind of strength that doesn't rely on another person's presence to feel validated. This doesn't mean they're closed off or against love. It just means they know what love truly is. They're not interested in settling for anything less than a partnership that brings peace, adds depth, and matches their energy. They're not interested in playing games or fitting into a mold of what society thinks a woman should be. Their time is too valuable for empty connections and superficial relationships. For any man to enter their life, he has to align with their values and contribute to the growth and stability they've worked so hard to achieve. He doesn't need to save them. He needs to respect their journey and walk beside them. Sigma females have learned to trust themselves so deeply that any relationship they choose is simply an addition to an already full life. So, while others might view their single status as a problem, Sigma females see it for what it is, a choice. It's not about avoiding relationships. It's about creating a life so rich, so fulfilling, that no one will ever come into it without understanding that they have to add to it, not take from it. They stay single longer not because they're afraid of love, but because they're afraid of settling for anything less than a partnership that truly elevates them.